Hey everybody, Roxabox90 here with some more Born of the Gods spoilers, and oh my gosh, we have even more to cover than last night because we got not one, but two gods. It's almost like Wizards was saying, we shouldn't have let them go without getting a god last night, so here you go, and that's what it's like. We got two gods and a lot more to cover, so let's jump right into it. Starting off with Unravel the Aether, which not only is it great art, but it's utterly fabulous card for EDH, which for me is a big deal. It's 1 and a green for an instant speed that choose any artifact or enchantment on the field, and its owner shuffles it into his or her library. This is important because tuck spells in EDH Commander are incredibly important. By taking any artifact or enchantment and tucking it away into the deck, it makes it very hard for people to get it compared to the graveyard or putting it back in their hand. So this card is a definite EDH staple, very solid removal, and I do think it even has some constructed standard viability just because it makes it that they can't easily recur it in any sense. It doesn't bounce it, it doesn't put it in the graveyard. Tucking into the deck can really give value, especially in our devotion heavy standards. So this is, I think, going to have some constructed options, but in EDH is where it's really insane. This card is also utterly unreal. We have Thassa's Rebuff. It's 1 and a blue for Mana Leak. That's better than Mana Leak in our current standard because it counters target spell unless its controller pays X, where X is your devotion to blue. By the time you're going to play this card turn 3 or 4, you really have 3 or 4 devotion, which means this is the equivalent of Mana Leak. But what's great about it is that it scales if you're playing a mono blue devotion deck, and by turn 5 or 6, you can counter things unless they pay 6 mana, which is an almost definite counterspell. So this is pretty much, I think, as close to an even better counterspell for standard, like counterspell the card. This is utterly crazy, guys. They really are pushing devotion, mono devotion, into another realm, and this card is really, really crazy for that. But don't worry, mono black has its answers, as we'll get to. This card, on the other hand, is not going anywhere. It's 2 blue for a 2/1 human wizard that whenever you cast a spell that targets him, exile the top 3 cards, tap 2 blue, sacrifice him, counter target spell with the same name as exiled by Mind Reaver. You might think this card is okay, but it is Grimoire Thief, which does the same thing but is infinitely better because every time it becomes tapped, you remove the top 3 cards. You can see those cards anytime, and it only costs 1 blue to do the similar ability, except you counter all spells with those names, and it adds an extra toughness. So in 4 different things, in the toughness, in its ability, in the be able to look at them, and it's the opposite of inspired effect, they pretty much made this card 4 times worse than a card that never saw really any major play, even though it had its moments, but it never really saw major play, and this card's worse. So this one, sadly, I'm sure I will pull a foil of, and I will laugh and then cry and then laugh some more and throw them in the garbage. So I expect to tear these likely in half if I ever pull one. Next we have Searing Blood, which is awesome, awesome card. It really counters some mono black stuff going on. 2 red for an instant, deals 2 damage to our creature. When that creature dies this turn, it deals 3 damage to the creature's controller. So it's 2 for 2, which is fine. It's absolutely doable in mono red or aggro red or black red even. And the fact that it not only does it do 2 damage and remove something, but it also at instant speed does a lightning bolt as well. So that's a 2 for 1 for 2 red. Very, very strong uncommon. I really am loving this 2-color thing. This is quite a good card. Wow. Then we have Ragemonger, the attempt to make Minotaurs playable, except they're not yet because we need a 1 and 2 drop, but it's 3 for a 2/3 that makes your Minotaur spells cost 1 black and 1 red less to cast. And it only affects the colored mana, so they give the example of why it doesn't work. So this is an Edgewalker, which was the equivalent but for clerics, and this guy is for Minotaurs. Sadly, we need our 1 and 2 drops to be powerful enough if we want to make Minotaurs constructed viable. I really hope Wizards keeping in mind, because right now the cheapest good Minotaur is 3 mana, and even though this guy works really well with the current Minotaurs that we have in Standard, he's not going to be able to push anywhere without that. That being said, I do think he's crazy strong for Limited, and will definitely have limited applications. Then we have some promo arts. We saw this card already, but it's Kiora's Follower. Actually, I like the other art better. This one looks kind of cartoonish, but it's full art, which you can't complain with. Now this guy, Tremocritus, this is the real art I wanted to see. This is crazy. It's a huge thing just coming, and there's the Pantheon hiding in the corner. This is a real Greek mythos story right here, and it looks fantastic. Really cool foil. And last but not least, we have a full art Pains here. Yes, Wizards is giving us craziness right here. If Inspired becomes a thing and Pains here becomes a thing, this card will be serious value. So I'm pretty sure this is a game day card. If you're at game day, definitely lay hands on this card because you will need it if possible, obviously. Because this card, not only is the art great, it has a very Jace-esque feel, but if Jace was evil and goth and hid in a cave somewhere, this would be Jace. The art is fabulous. The card is, I think, has seriously awesome applications, and you should really go pick yours up if possible at game day. Really try, guys. Then we have the new stuff, such as the mono black devotion. So we thought we had a mono blue mana leak and that was broken. Well, guess what? Bile Blight is broken. 2 black for an instant. Target creature and all other creatures with the same name as that creature get 3/3. Wow. All right. So here we have. It's not quite an infest effect. It's honestly I think better. And this is the art from the trailer that we were trying to figure out. It is absolutely crazy. This card is not only great in standard Mono Black Devotion, it's really, Mono Black Devotion is being pushed out of this world, but realize this has effects and applications even in Modern. This card can break Splinter Twin combos and Kiki-Jiki combos because Pestermite and the Deceiver Exarch both die to this card, and it's an instant speed removal. So if they do their infinite and then you do this, you kill all the copies. It kills that creature and all creatures with the same name. And it's -3/-3, so it kills them all. This card is not just a standard beacon. This is going to be a huge icon in standard, I think. But this is also has serious modern applications, guys. Wow, I would definitely try to get some of these, especially foil if you can, because I think these will have long-term applications in our Magic game. It's amazing. Let's get to the gods, starting off with Xenagos the Revels. He's 5 for a 6/5 indestructible. As long as your devotion to red and green is the same, at the beginning of combat on your turn, another target creature you control gains haste and gets X+X, where X is that creature's power. Wow. Alright, they delivered. This is ridiculous. He gives a better than Berserk-like effect every single time it comes to your combat. So it gives a creature haste and X+X, where X is the creature's power. Realizing Gruul colors, especially in aggro decks, most of the creatures have a better power than they do toughness. And so this card will just every single turn give you huge value. And of course, the first creature you're playing that turn at the main step gains haste if you do it to that. So as you scale up and play turn by turn after Xenagos, that creature will technically always be able to attack and will always be crazy powerful. So this guy, wow, he seriously is fantastic to round out an aggro deck curve. I do think he has standard constructed viability for sure. And in EDH, this card really makes Voltron deck crazy. This fits into any Voltron deck. It's absolutely unreal, its ability. And if you can fit it in, go for it. It's a great card. And last but not least, we have the green-white god, Karametra. So this is a gorgeous artwork. And the card itself, she is the same cost as Xenagos. So she's more expensive than some of the others we've seen. She has the same effects otherwise, indestructible and such. She's a 6/7, so she's a huge body for cheap. And whenever you cast a creature spell, you may search your library for a forest or plains, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. So this card works in about a billion ways, and I can't go through them all right now. But she is a great card for token EDH decks because, or any effects that makes you flicker or bounce or cast or play tokens and creatures and things, anything that has creatures coming into play a lot, because she is the ultimate ramp card here. She gives you a forest or plains, so it's not just basic lands, but it does give you basic lands as well. The fact that it happens every single time you cast a creature and you get it, yes, it's not untapped, but even so, she is a massive ramp card and she pushes ramp out of this world. So in EDH Commander, she's a very strong commander on her own, and then she'll fit into about at least half a dozen archetypes off the top of my head. She is really powerful. In terms of standard, she's okay. The fact is, by turn 5, you're not going to need that ramp, so I don't think she really matters so much in standard. But in EDH, guys, she is crazy. Get your foil now because, wow, she is fantastic. So those are tons of spoilers. We got two gods, we got crazy, crazy standard stuff and EDH stuff. Tonight is just all goodness. So tap the like button if you're as excited as I am. Go down to the comment section, leave your thoughts down below. If you're new and you want to follow more spoilers, hit the subscribe button and join up. And as always, stay tuned. Roxabox90 signing out. I'll see you guys next time.